So I'm really, really happy to be with you this morning. And let's just invite the Holy Spirit to join us. Holy Spirit, thank you for your presence. May our hearts be wide open to you. May your fruit, the seed of your fruit, be planted in our hearts, and the fruit of the Spirit flow from each one of us as we provide for each other a place to rest and a place to come to new life, resurrection life. Thank you for your life. Amen. So the name of my talk, and I'm not going to be doing a lot of the talking, but the name of my talk is A Resurrection Power When the Spirit Flows. So we're talking about the fruits of the Spirit today and the resurrection power that flows when we rest in the Spirit. So tomorrow is Resurrection Day. Today is a day of rest. So as Seventh-day Adventists, we are a people called to usher in Sabbath rest. When we provide a space to rest, a place to truly rest, we are creating a space for the Spirit to flow. We can know the Spirit is flowing when we experience the fruit of the Spirit. The fruit of the Spirit is love. When love flows, there's joy, peace, goodness, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. You can find that in Galatians 5, the fruit of the Spirit. When we create an atmosphere where love is flowing, where the fruit of the Spirit is evident, people come to life. When people come to life, our whole world is transformed. So today, we are going to hear some resurrection stories. I've asked some of the people who have found a place to rest in our building each night to share their resurrection stories. I've asked them to share how they have experienced the flow of the Spirit, the fruit of the Spirit, in their life journey. Their stories amaze me and bring me great joy. And I just pray that you may be blessed as I have been by their stories. So Kevin, would you like to come up?
Hello, I've been a guest in you guys' gymnasium for the past 2 months now, and I was sharing a story with Arlene about an accident I had in summer '85, and she thought it'd be perfect for today's sermon. Basically, I had just gotten a summer job this summer before my senior year, and I had rode my bicycle to work. Well, unbeknownst to me, it rained all day. Excuse me. And I managed to wipe the seat off, but I forgot to wipe the brakes off of my bicycle. And so I was going down the hill, and all I remember is looking in the traffic, and then I blacked out. But from what people tell me, it was like really horrific, and I should, by all accounts, be dead. I guess this guy was coming with a pickup truck, towing a boat behind him, and he had his 2 little daughters with him. He hit me, and I flipped on his hood, and then I flew like 10 feet in the air, landed on a barbed wire fence, got catapulted another 10, 15 feet in the air, and landed in this empty field. And everybody said I did not move for like 30 minutes. They all thought I was dead. Well, after I got to the hospital, they took an x-ray of my knee, and they said there was nothing left. It was like ground up hamburger. And so they just wanted to amputate. Well, my dad said if they can do anything to save it, please do so. So they had this doctor trying out a new procedure. where they would set my leg and then every week take x-rays and then open the cast, reset my leg, and then put it back in the cast. Well, from one week to the next, the doctor was amazed at the x-rays, and he called my dad over to look at them. And apparently from one week to the next, all new bone grew in and pushed the old stuff out. That's just one of many miracles of this accident. Another one was there's an off-duty paramedic in the area, and this guy's insurance that hit me paid everything, my hospital, my recovery, and everything, which I thought was a miracle in itself too. And so, yeah, by all accounts, I should be dead. So, thank God he wasn't finished with me yet. So, thank you.
I guess I'm like really thankful to be here. It's kind of weird for me studying out of a church, coming into different places, and having so many people that would like to sit there and tell me how I'm this or I'm not that. But what's been really warming is being introduced to some different people recently. And as I'm being introduced, having people, and he's been proudly introduced as one of your church family. Thank you.
Amen.
I think my real awakening, my real one moment, would have to center on turning to the Creator and going, look, everything's so jacked up. There is no man that can teach me. And you're telling me to warn me, you're warning me about everything that's out there. And just going, look, you show me the way. Let your word guide me. And I think that's when I finally woke up. And if there's any kind of a change in the person's life from before and after, when you start knowing him and you start learning him and you start doing as he says, you are following him. And it's amazing because that's the change that happens within you as you become more of him.
So there were several people I invited to come and share with you who are not here. One of them was baptized at the North Cascade Seventh-day Adventist Church through going through a Jack Cologne meeting. And I was really hoping he would be here today. But I just thought that was awesome. We were sitting there talking, and he was just sharing his love for the Creator, and it was just amazing. So I was hoping to share that with our church family. So I would like to bring a mic around and have you share your stories where you have experienced rest and where you have experienced the fruit of the Spirit, where the fruit of the Spirit has been flowing in a way that touched your heart. So anybody, do we have any takers who would like to share today?
Thank you. And I have to tell you, I moved to the Burlington area in August, and I was going to the other church, and nothing against the other church, but it wasn't home. When I walked into this church, I have felt a family here, and so I stay in the area. This is where I hope to be. When I was 4 years old, my parents were alcoholics, and my father was very abusive. And he would, when they came home from the tavern, he would beat Mama. So I guess I was 5 at the time. We decided to put a stop to it. So we shot our father. Now this was back in the early 60s, and back then they didn't take children away from homes when there was violence in the home. But they told my parents that they had to start going to church. So we started attending the Methodist church for a summer. At 5 years old, I found out that I had a friend called Jesus. And Jesus was always, always with me. I also found out that I had my own angel, which I never knew. So we didn't stay in that town very long, so we moved to another town. And of course my parents continued to go back to drinking and the violence, though not nearly as severe. And when you're a little child, you worry and worry and worry about everything. But now I found out I have my very own special angel. And I could picture my angel. We had a cupboard, and my angel would sit on the cupboard and watch over me at night. And also, I would prop my hand up on my pillow so that Jesus could hold my hand. And so night after night, I would be so afraid that they would get in a car accident and would be killed, and we would be orphans. Any life with your parents is, when it's your parents, you want them no matter what kind of life they gave you. So parents, when you bring your little people to church, what a wonderful thing you are giving them. You are teaching them about Jesus and that they have their own special angel who will always take care of them. And so at the tender age of 5, and I've always felt the need to come to a church, whatever church, because they went back to church. But thank goodness that there are parents like you who bring your children to church so that they can learn about Jesus.
Anybody else? Do you have a resurrection story, a healing story?
So, a long time ago, when we were moving up here, it feels like a long time ago. It's been almost 11 years. One of my friends threw a little party, going away party, and my friend gave me a plaque that said, "You still know that I'm God." That doesn't come normally to me. I'm a striver, I'm a people pleaser. I like to get things done. And recently I've gotten pneumonia, and I've had to be still a lot, and it's been really frustrating. I wouldn't say that patience is flowing through me right now, but I will say that God has surrounded me with a wonderful, supportive network of family and friends who have gone to the store for me, who have brought us meals, who have fed us, who have brought us groceries, and taken care of us. Now, another time in my life, not so long ago, so this is clearly a recurring theme that I haven't quite picked up. I was put on bed rest when I was pregnant with Kendra, and I had to be on bed rest for 9 weeks, which is a really long time, and you've been through it for 1 day, and then, you have like a lot longer to go, and you don't know how long it's going to last. You just hope it lasts a long time so that your baby can grow and be viable and be born and can get to enjoy him, which we clearly have. But something really powerful happened during that time. The elders of the church came and anointed me, and they prayed over me. And, over that period of time, there was so much worry. I mean, we thought we were losing him from the first time we found out we were pregnant. Like 3 days later, we were getting an ultrasound because there seemed to be complications. So this whole pregnancy had just been nothing but worry and a real desire to meet our boy alive and well. And after the elders had come by and anointed me and prayed over us, I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt a hand on my belly, and there was nobody there, and I just felt an overwhelming sense of it's going to be okay. And we have our boy and we get to enjoy him now, but I also believe that no matter what had happened, it would have been okay, because I would have just had to wait longer to meet him. But anyways, I know that God is present, and he's still trying to work on me. So if you don't have anything to say that isn't incredibly inspiring, and you're still in that place where he's trying to teach you something and it's not flowing yet, it's all right. Just sit and let him keep teaching you.
Thank you, Melissa. We call Kendra our miracle baby.
Most people around here know I recently lost my beloved husband, and I have to say that this church was 100% for me. They brought me food, they came and visited. He got to see everybody that was important to him. And family, oh my God, my family is so awesome. Even to this day, they're helping me with, because I lost most everything when I lost Bud, because he was our major income. So my family has just come together to help me keep my home, and the love that's spread, this church. I mean, I left the church for a while and I'm back for good, because this family is worth it. They are family. Thank you.
Yeah, I have have a lot of times in my life where God has, well, most of the time rescued me from myself. I would say that's most all the time he has rescued me from myself. And I was trying to figure out which one should I even talk about, but I think the one, it was when I was searching, like really searching, trying to find truth, trying to find which direction was I going to go towards. Was it Christianity? Was it Islam? Was it, any of the other many religions out there, or none of them, if none of them were true. And so I started searching and reading and talking with people, and everything kept pointing back to the Bible, because it actually had the answers that I was looking for, and answers to the way life really is, not the way that we want it to be, not a good imagination, good story. But then at that point I realized, well, if everything keeps coming back to the Bible, now I need to look and see whether the Bible was true. And so after looking into that, I realized there is so much evidence that points to this being true and points to it being good. And so then it came down to me whether I could trust God. And the more I read, the more I realized that this Jesus, he said, was so completely different than anybody I'd ever met, anybody that I could even imagine. But everybody in authority is always, they always want something from you. There's something going on, but yet this Jesus, he came, became one of us, and he allowed us to put him on a cross. He didn't fight back. He didn't destroy us with a word. Here was this king who allowed us to put him on a cross and to kill him because he loves us. That changed my life, changed the way I saw things, which gave me peace, and still giving me patience and a lot of the other fruits of the Spirit. But just wanted to tell you where that point came from me, where I realized that I could trust him.
So if you decide anytime before I'm done that you want to share, just raise your hand and I'll bring the mic to you. So I'm going to share a story in my life. When I was a freshman in high school, I went to a boarding academy, Milo Academy, and just fell deeply in love with my Creator. I call it my honeymoon time with Papa. I call God Papa. So I call it my honeymoon time. And it was just such a special time the first 3 years, well, maybe all through high school, but especially the first 2 years of high school. I just got the experience of walking and talking with Papa. And that transformed my life. Got married right out of high school. Not a good decision, but I have a beautiful son out of that marriage. And 6 years into that marriage, we went through a separation, a divorce. And I decided to go back to college. Well, I had only gone to Seventh-day Adventist Christian schools my whole life. I had never attended a public school. I went to community college so that, I could get all the generals out of the way. And I went there thinking that I had all the answers. And I just have to admit, I went there thinking I had all the answers. And I met some people that totally changed my life. One of them, I was working as a work-study position at the school, and my supervisor was the gentlest, kindest person I had ever met. And he was an agnostic. And that just totally did a number on me. I didn't understand it. I had never really rubbed shoulders with people outside of my church, and that just blew me away. And then I lived 25 miles from the college, so I carpooled with a gal who I had some of the most wonderful fellowship with her that I've ever had with anyone in my life. And she wasn't a Christian. She wasn't any religion, because she felt like religion put people in boxes, and she didn't want to be in a box. But she had deep, deep, profound love for her Creator and for creation. And we had some of the most wonderful fellowship that we've ever had. Well, the first few quarters in college, I took some classes, a whole bunch of classes, where I was reading like 3 or 4 classes where in all of those classes, I was reading materials written by atheists. And what I was reading sounded somewhat reasonable. I was just thinking, it just kind of blew my box. And so I went through a period of time where I questioned everything I had ever been taught, including the existence of the Creator. I was seriously questioning. And I had also met these wonderful people that, so they're His children too. And that was a very painful and very difficult time in my life, but also an extremely rich time in my life, because it wasn't just my parents' religion that I was swallowing. I was going through the process of making my faith my own. And I remember one night, I was separated before I went to college, so I had been through a divorce. I was alone. I had a little boy. And I remember one night laying in bed and just saying, "Papa, I need a hug. I just need a hug." And I felt a physical embrace hold me. And I don't know how many hours, but I felt the embrace of my Heavenly Papa. And that answered that question for me. I remembered, I went through in my mind the beautiful honeymoon time I had had with him in high school, and that he was holding me in his arms right at the moment I needed him the most. That was a precious, precious time for me. So from a place of rest, I felt the fruits of the Spirit: love, joy, peace, goodness, kindness, gentleness, faithfulness, self-control. I felt that flow into my life because my Heavenly Papa loves me. So anybody else would like to share?
Being new widows, with the love of our Father up in heaven and the love of this church, Nikki and I, we are going to make it. We are. Thank you.
Today is a day of rest. Jesus rested in the tomb on this day 2,000 years ago. Tomorrow is Resurrection Day, the day Jesus rose from the grave. The world has never been the same. May each one of us experience true rest as we relax in Papa's everlasting arms. May each of us come together with unity of purpose to help provide an atmosphere where everyone around us can truly rest. And I just want to say thank you for this church family for opening our building to people who don't get much rest. I did the 6 p.m. to 1 a.m. shift twice this week in a row, 2 days in a row. I was just completely out of it. I could hardly think. And I just started crying talking to one of my friends that I've met at the shelter. I just started crying and I said, "You go through this every single day. I can't even imagine how it must feel to not get rest." So thank you, church family, for opening our doors so people can rest. So may each of us come together with unity of purpose to help provide an atmosphere where everyone around us can truly rest, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, in every way. May each of us truly come alive with resurrection life as we enter his rest and experience the flow of the Spirit. So please invite the Spirit to fill you as you listen with me to the beautiful song, He's Alive. And I want to say thank you to Lorraine for telling me about this song and the beauty of I've heard the song before, but she plugged me into someone who sings it so beautifully. So we don't have video, but just close your eyes and invite the Spirit to fill you and listen to the song, He's Alive.